laying down a literal road outside of my apartment right now. Construction never ends, 2K17. Hey guys, it's Reagan, and today I'm here to bring you my April wrap-up. Now for the month of April, I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I've read a total of 6 books this month, which is definitely the most I feel like I've read all year, if not since the beginning of the year. So like, kudos to me. It was definitely a mixed reading month. I feel like I either loved it or I was like, eh, with the books, but I'll get more into that in the actual detailed part of my wrap up. Before I jump in, I did quickly want to shout out my book haul, which I posted a few days ago, so if you guys haven't seen that, I'll leave that link down below. I definitely bought too many books this month, but what's new? But anyway, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right in. The first book I finished this month is one I feel like I have not shut up about since I finished reading, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is the first book to Laini Taylor's new series, and it follows 2 main characters, and we get both their perspectives. The first main character we follow is called Laszlo Strange, and he his whole life has been a librarian, and his job is basically to help scholars retrieve the texts they need from this giant library he works in. He's rather satisfied with this life. He loves books, he loves reading, he loves research, and in fact he is obsessed with this kind of lost city called Weep, and he's become a scholar of Weep. However, near the beginning of the novel, an envoy actually comes from Weep because they've been lost and they kind of need help to like fix their city, and so they're collecting various scholars and geniuses and architects to help them, and Laszlo joins this envoy and goes to the city. This is a beautiful story that has so many interesting dream metaphors. I just really loved it. Again, this book also has a whole nother perspective in this book, but I don't want to talk about it because I don't know, I kind of feel like it's more fun to be surprised by that perspective and uncover what is going on with that perspective, because it's such a unique character and place in society. I feel like Laini Taylor just has a way, and she did this with her original trilogy as well as this book, in dealing with the complexities of violence and war and multi-generational violence, and the fact that people hate and they might not remember why they hate, but they just know they do, and the ideas of how can you overcome such insurmountable hate and things like that. I just feel like Laini Taylor did such a wonderful job painting this complex scenario that is just so real on so many different levels. Again, the writing in this I thought was absolutely beautiful. I really loved the characters. It did take me a little bit to get into it. The first 75 pages I was both kind of confused and kind of like, how do I feel about this book? But you definitely hit a point where you're like, okay, I'm in it. Let's go. I'm with you, Laini Taylor. I know what you're doing, and I honestly cannot wait for the next one. I thought this book was absolutely beautiful. I just think she has such a skill with writing characters and worlds in such a wonderful way. I ended up giving this book 5 stars, which I haven't done a lot this year, I'm not gonna lie, but I really loved this, and it's definitely one of my favorite books I've read this year. The next book I read was one of my most anticipated books of the year, and that is Shadowcaster by Cindy Williams Chima. This is the second book to her Shattered Realms series, which is a spin-off of the Seven Realms series, which is one of my all-time favorite books. Absolutely loved the first one of this. This one I also enjoyed. Didn't like it as much as the first one, but honestly it was still fantastic. Cindy Williams Chima has such a way with having a multi-perspective book and just tying all of those narratives together in such a large, sweeping story. This book does focus on new characters that were kind of mentioned in the first book but weren't really reading from their perspective, and I think that's why I didn't love it as much. I liked the characters a lot in this book, don't get me wrong, but I just love the ones in the first book that I missed them, and I was like, but wait, I want more about them. But I feel like everything is going to be coming together in the next few books in the series, which I can't wait. Honestly though, this had some really interesting new elements that we just haven't seen in this world before. It appears like we're getting some new magic. I also loved reading from Alyssa's perspective, one of the main characters, who is a princess, but like a badass princess. Like, she is a captain in the army, and she is just so strong and so different from a lot of the female characters we get in YA just in general. So anyway, I really loved this. I felt like it was definitely kind of a setup book for the rest of the books in the series, because she had to just lay all this groundwork for a lot of stuff that's about to go down. Like, let me tell you. But I ended up enjoying this. I gave it a 4.25 out of 5 stars. really liked it. If you haven't started the series, starting with the Demon King, because you do have to read it first, would highly recommend. It's so good, okay? The next book I read is the Proustopia Book Club pick of the month for the month of April, and this month we are doing a paid promotion with Freeform Books, which is an imprint of Disney Publishing worldwide, and we read Bryce Rolls by Margaret Stoll. This is a YA contemporary book following our main character Bentley Royce, and Bentley Royce is part of a very famous reality TV family, and her whole life she's grown up on reality TV, and she seemingly has it all: riches, fame, connections. However, at the beginning of the story, the ratings for their TV show have dropped, and it looks like they might get cut. Bentley is secretly really excited about this because she actually hates being in reality TV, and her dream is to be normal and go to college. But her family, who's definitely a lot more narcissistic and Hollywood dependent, sees this as the end of the world, and they're gonna do anything to get their show renewed. I mean, anything, like fake wedding, anything. This story is absolutely ridiculous in such a fun way, and I really feel like it paints the absurdity of Hollywood life really well. It definitely like shows how far people are willing to go to maintain and to achieve fame, and also it kind of shows how sad these people are in terms of their life. Like, yes, they might be rich, yes, they might be famous, but their lives are so shallow, at least the characters in this book anyway, that you're like, man, I actually almost pity you. Like, you have nothing. Like, you need to like refocus, girlfriend. I did do a full review for this book, which I'll leave linked down below. I actually really liked it. I thought it was a whole lot of fun. I'm a reality TV junkie, so this was something totally up my alley. And the live show for this book is going to be this weekend, so stay tuned for that. And I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really, really, really liked it. The next book I read this month was a book I read for class, and this is literally the first book I've read for this class that I actually enjoyed. Everything else for this class was so boring. But then I read this at the end of the semester. I was like, hey, we should have started with this. The book I read was The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. This is a nonfiction book written by Rebecca, who is a reporter, and basically she's trying to uncover the life of Henrietta Lacks, whose cells were taken without her consent to make HeLa cells, which are cells that are used every day in research, and they're really important because they can reproduce and basically be immortal in that way, and they're very useful. They've been used to kind of solve for vaccinations like polio and things like that. While HeLa cells have gone on to make a lot of money and make a lot of people pretty famous, Henrietta's family was never asked, never compensated, and there's also the complexities of social class in terms of medicine and power positions. This book is really, really interesting. One, Henrietta's story is so interesting and very personal, and it definitely shows the race and class struggles and the consequences of that in regards to science very well. And I also like how finally there's been a human element attributed to the fact that her cells have changed so much in the course of history, science, health, medicine, and no one knew who had this cell. She was completely anonymous. In fact, a lot of people didn't even realize her name was Henrietta Lacks. And so to just be able to learn about the creation and the distribution of HeLa cells in conjunction with learning about Henrietta's story and her life and her family, and also Skloot as the journalist, we also follow her as she struggles to uncover this and like works with the family, gaining their trust so they can basically to ensure that Henrietta's story is shared and told in the way that they want it to be and how they feel like actually represents their mother, their wife, their aunt, and things like that. And it was recently made into a TV movie on HBO, and Oprah Winfrey is in it, so I really want to watch that. But I really liked this book. I rarely read any nonfiction, let alone scientific nonfiction, but I liked this. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was very eye-opening. The next book I completed this month comes out of this enormous like entire works bind up. I read the first book to the Night Angel trilogy by Brent Weeks. I was highly anticipating this book because I love the Prism series by him so much, but I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed by this book. First off, major trigger warning for sexual violence, sexual assault in general. It is prevalent early on, and it's heavy stuff, and I honestly don't even feel like it was necessary. But the thing is, this book is super dark. We follow our main character as he grows up to become an assassin, and he's basically trying to become the best assassin in the world, and he's training under his mentor, and you kind of see them weave in and out of politics. It's a very complicated world. Honestly, I felt like this book was so slow and also so uncomfortably violent in the first 200 pages. Like, I was just waiting and waiting and waiting for like the plot to kind of reveal itself and pick up. It ultimately did, and I ended up liking kind of the direction it went, but I just felt like it took so long to get there. And again, because I had such high expectations for this, ultimately, like, I feel like I'm way more disappointed by how I felt about it than I would be if I hadn't read other books by Brent Weeks. I don't really have a lot to say about this because it was just such a disappointment. I kind of like blacked it out of my brain after I finished it. I gave this like 2.53 stars. I might continue on because I thought it went to interesting places, but ultimately, like, I don't know if it just wasn't for me or like what's up, but I just didn't think this book was that interesting at all. And the last book I completed this month was sent to me for review by the author whom I'm working with for this video, and that is Vampire Addiction by Eva Pohler. And Eva Pohler's actually running a giveaway, or just you sign up for her newsletter and you get this book for free as an ebook copy, as well as the first book to another one of her series. So if you're interested in a free book, I will definitely leave that link down below for you if you're interested. But this is a YA dark paranormal romance following our main character Gertie, who moves to Greece as kind of a foreign exchange student, and she lives with a host family. Her family's very rich, and she has a lot of resentment towards her family because she feels that her family's just trying to like put her somewhere else so they don't have to deal with her. When she's in Greece, she starts to uncover this secret underground vampire society that combines with like Greek mythology and Greek gods. It's actually a very interesting element to this book. There's also elements of a love triangle and a little bit of insta-love. Ultimately, I felt like the strengths of this book were the fact that I really liked the setting. I thought the Greek setting was really cool, and I loved her host family. They were just so sweet and funny and cute, and I really liked the vampirism mixed with the Greek mythology. I felt like this is a really creative idea that I've never actually read before, so I was really intrigued by that. And in fact, I wish she just expanded on that a little bit more, because I felt like all the world building felt a little bit surface level. Some definite negatives for me was I felt like the character development was a little underdeveloped, and also there was a love triangle that was like pretty love triangle-y mixed with insta-love, which is generally not really my taste when it comes to book, but I know some people really like that and they think it's a lot of fun, and that's perfectly fine. Ultimately though, I did give this book like a 1.5, 2 stars. I liked it, I didn't love it, I thought there was some strong elements to it, but I definitely think there are some key areas of improvement moving forward with this series. But like I said, I literally read this book in 2 days, so it's definitely a fast read, and I really did like the setting, so yes. Alrighty guys, that is my April wrap up. Let me know down below one of your favorite books you've read recently, as I would love to know. And yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Goodbye!